If it looks like I'm in a new space, that's because I am. A few weeks back, I toured the Biosphere 2 out in Oracle, Arizona. I only took this quick video because at the time I really didn't think I'd be making this. But when I showed my friends and family where I was, most of them did not know what I was talking about or what I was doing. So in this episode, I'm going to give a brief history of the Biosphere 2. Welcome to Internet So let's start off by going over why it's called Biosphere 2. It's pretty simple, it's just that it's the second fully self-sufficient biosphere just behind Earth. Planning and construction took just 7 years, and it was only used for its intended purpose twice. It was built with airtight glass and tubing with a loss of air of just 10% per year. To keep the facility pressurized, there are two massive domes with huge rubber diaphragms that raise and lower. They act as lungs for the biosphere. This facility contains over 3,000 species of plants, all contained in different biomes. There's a rainforest, a savanna, a desert, a mangrove forest, and even the world's largest synthetic ocean. Mark Nelson, one of the original Biospherians, spoke on how you could clearly see the impact of everything you did. He also spoke on the realization that the plants around you are just waiting to catch the CO2 from your every breath. Now let's move on to what this is really all about. The whole purpose of this experiment was to test humanity's ability to create and sustain life within a closed ecosystem. Sealed in from September 26th of 1991 to September 26th of 1993, the first team consisted of 8 members. Jane Pointer, Sally Silverstone, Abigail Alling, Linda Leahy, Roy Walford, Tabor McCullum, Mark Nelson, and Mark Vinthillo. Most of their waking hours was spent farming, although none of them had come from a farming background. With over 80 edible crops and a large mass of livestock, the Biospherians grew, cultivated, or slaughtered everything they ate. Although the first few months were marked with heavy clouds and low harvests, they worked at farming and eventually became the most productive half-acre in the world. Despite this, they would describe hunger as a constant companion within the biosphere. Several months in, oxygen levels had dropped from 20.9 to just 14.2%. This was likely caused by microbes in the soil releasing CO2 faster than the young plants could photosynthesize. The entire team soon started to experience symptoms of altitude sickness. Eventually, trucks were brought in to pump O2 into the building. One crew member described the feeling as the most dramatic physiological revivals of their life. However, for this reason, as well as rumors of food being smuggled in, many scientists and journals to this day consider this experiment a failure. Personally, I could not disagree more. I consider this project a wild success. The issue really is that nobody, not even the Biospherians themselves, knew what the purpose of this experiment would actually become. Unfortunately, being trapped with the same 8 people for years isn't without its issues. They contracted what psychologists call irrational antagonism. Over time, a power struggle regarding the experiment's direction divided the team into 2 factions of 4, one wanting to open the facility and focus on science, and the other wanting to keep the initial experiment intact. Nothing ever resulted in physical fights, but one crew member said that she was spat at multiple times. Thankfully, no matter how bad things got, issues were said to be aired out in the open, and the team continued to work as a whole. All 8 members left the facility in 1993 profoundly changed. And though raising food was a massive challenge, it resulted in them leaving with lower body fat percentages, lower cholesterol, better blood pressure, and all seemed to make it to the other side in good health. The next year, they decided to run the experiment again with just some minor improvements to help the experiment's success. Beginning on March 6, 1994, they planned to seal 7 people in for 10 months. This team included Roberto Alvarez Romo, John Druitt, Matt Finn, Pascal Maslin, Charlotte Godfrey, Rodrigo Romo, and Tilak Mahato. Less than a month later, on April Fool's Day no less, financier Ed Bass had federal marshals serve the on-site management team with restraining orders, promptly removing them from the site. He then hired this dumpy piece of shit to, I kid you not, keep the experiment from hemorrhaging money. Let me just say really quick, I don't think this should have ever been about money. Nonetheless, this princess was literally helicoptered in and allowed to sink his greasy hands into the experiment of a lifetime. 2 former Biospherians, Abigail Alling and Mark Vinthillo, were less than pleased with this decision. They flew back to Oracle, Arizona at 3 a.m. April 5th. They opened several doors to the facility and broke 5 glass windows as a way to warn the current Biospherians that the new management team would surely jeopardize their safety in order to save wherever they could. And that likely would have been the case had the experiment not been ended 5 months early, as Columbia University stepped in, acquired the site, and shut the project down. This piece of shit left after 2 years, and he and his company were actually sued by Alling and Van Thillo for abusive process, stating abusive behavior from Bannon and showing that the bank's goal was to actually shut the project down. It's kind of funny, Bannon actually had to testify that he referred to Alling as a deluded, self-centered woman, called her a bimbo, and said that he wanted to jam her 5-page complaint down her throat. Real class act. Bannon lost the suit and had to pay the plaintiff $600,000. $41,000 of Alling and Van Thillo's share was ordered to be used for repairs to the facility. Today, the facility is owned by the University of Arizona, and it's actually still used for scientific experiments, just not like it was before. It's also open to the public, so if you're ever in the Tucson area, go up there, throw them $25. I swear it's worth it. And hey, University of Arizona, if you're ever planning an actual lock-in experiment, please put me on that list. Lock me in. In the description, I'm just going to link their main YouTube channel, as well as an article from Mark Nelson, one of the original Biospherians. It really lays out their entire experience, and it's an incredible read. I'd actually like to end this video with a quote from that article. We're facing a species IQ test that will determine if humans can show the intelligence, resilience, and adaptability to be a cooperative, creative part of our planetary biosphere, or whether we're headed to an evolutionary dead end. This is the exhilarating and, yes, scary challenge of our time. But we have allies. As we so unforgettably learned in Biosphere 2, we are all part of the biosphere, body and soul. The biosphere is on our side. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Biosphere 2 is like a hole in space and time. It doesn't really exist in the space of Arizona. An enigma in time. Is this 1991 or 2020? A museum of archetypes. Am I Thalaba the Destroyer or my Sweet 16? A civilization waiting to be born. Listen, there's a hell of a good universe next door. Let's go.